What if I told you there is one exercise that tells you more about how fast you are aging than almost any test your doctor can run? What if I told you it requires zero equipment, takes less than 5 minutes, and can be done right in your living room starting today? Most seniors have never heard it explained this way. Most fitness videos never go this deep. But the science has been building for years, and once you understand what this exercise is actually doing inside your body, you will never look at it the same way again. Here is exactly what this video is about. There is one movement that tests your strength, your power, your balance, your coordination, and your nervous system all at the same time. It is called the sit to stand. You probably know it as getting up from a chair. Sounds simple, right? That is what most people think. They see it as a basic rehab drill, something for people who are already struggling. But that thinking is completely wrong, and today I am going to show you why. I have gone deep into the research on aging, muscle loss, and fall prevention, and what I found surprised even me. This one movement is not just an exercise. It is a window into how well your body is actually aging, and more importantly, it is one of the most powerful tools you have to slow that process down. Here is what we are going to cover. First, why strength alone is not enough and what your body actually needs to stay functional. Second, what the sit to stand is really training that nobody talks about. And third, how to do it in a way that actually gets results, including a version that most people have never tried. Stay with me, because the third point is the one that is going to change how you train. Let us start with something that most fitness advice completely gets wrong. Everyone talks about strength. Build stronger legs, do more squats, lift heavier, and yes, strength matters. But here is the thing most people do not know. As you age, your body does not just lose strength, it loses power. And power is a completely different thing. Power is how fast you can produce force. It is the ability to push yourself up from a chair quickly. It is the split-second reaction when you start to slip and your leg has to fire immediately to catch you. That is power. And research shows that power declines with age even faster than strength does. You can have decent muscle size on paper and still struggle with real-world movements because your fast-twitch muscle fibers, the ones responsible for speed and explosiveness, are the first to go. They shrink. They slow down. They stop firing efficiently. And nobody is talking about this. Most senior fitness content says, move slowly, be careful, take your time. And while safety absolutely matters, that advice is leaving a huge gap. Because if you only ever move slowly, you train your body to only move slowly. And that is a problem when life requires you to move fast. That is why the sit to stand is so much more important than it looks. It directly targets the exact muscles and the exact qualities that age the fastest. Now let me explain what this exercise is actually training, because this is where it gets interesting. When you stand up from a chair, your quadriceps, glutes, and hamstrings all fire together. Those are the big muscles of your legs, the ones responsible for walking, climbing stairs, and recovering from a slip. They are also the muscles that tend to weaken the most as people get older, and most people do not notice until it is already a problem. But here is what makes the sit to stand special. It is not just a leg exercise. When you rise from a chair, your core has to stabilize your trunk. Your nervous system has to coordinate the timing of every muscle firing in the right sequence. Your brain has to manage your balance as your center of gravity shifts forward and upward, and your body has to transfer weight efficiently from the chair to your feet. That is strength, coordination, balance, and neurological control all happening in one movement. No single machine at the gym can replicate that combination. This is why researchers have started using the sit-to-stand test as a functional aging indicator. It is not just measuring how strong your legs are, it is measuring how well your whole system is working together. But here is something even more surprising, and this is the part most people completely overlook. The sitting down part matters just as much as the standing up part. When you lower yourself back into a chair, your muscles are working eccentrically. That means they are contracting while lengthening, fighting against gravity to control the descent. That eccentric strength is what protects you on stairs. It is what keeps you from crumpling when you step off a curb wrong. It is what gives you the braking power to stop a fall before it becomes a fall. Most people drop into a chair without thinking about it. They just fall back. And every time they do that, they are missing half the exercise. So when you do this movement, the lowering phase is not the rest. It is the work. Now let me give you the practical side of this. Here is how to actually do the sit to stand in a way that gets results. Start with a standard chair. Not too soft, not too low. A firm dining chair works perfectly. Sit toward the front edge so your feet are flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Now, lean slightly forward from your hips, not your back, your hips. That forward lean is critical. It shifts your weight over your feet so your legs can drive you up, instead of your back straining to pull you forward. Press through your heels and the balls of your feet evenly and rise to a full standing position. Do not lock your knees at the top. Just stand tall, hips fully extended, glutes lightly engaged. Then, and this is the part most people rush, slowly lower yourself back down. Take 2 to 3 seconds on the way down. Control it. Feel your muscles working the whole way. That is 1 rep. That is the foundation. Now, how many should you do? Start with 2 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions. If that feels easy, that is a good sign. It means you are ready to progress. If it feels hard, that is also a good sign. It means you found exactly where your body needs work. But here is where things get really interesting, and this is the point I promised you earlier that most people never try. Speed matters. There was a study on home-based resistance training in older adults that found something surprising. When participants performed chair stands at a faster, more intentional pace, they saw bigger gains in muscle power and thigh muscle size compared to those who moved slowly. Not recklessly fast, intentionally fast. There is a difference. Controlled speed trains your fast twitch fibers. It wakes up the motor units that have gone quiet from years of slow, careful movement. It tells your nervous system that it needs to be ready to respond quickly. And that is exactly the quality that protects you from falls. Because falls do not happen slowly. They happen in a fraction of a second, and your body needs to be trained for that. So here is how you add speed to the sit to stand. Once you are comfortable with the slow, controlled version, try this. Lower down slowly, 2 to 3 seconds. Then stand up with intention. Not a jump, not a launch, but a deliberate, powerful drive upward. Think of it like you are trying to stand up before someone pulls the chair away. That mental cue changes everything. You will feel your muscles engage differently. You will feel more powerful. And over time, you will move more like a younger person, not just look like one. That is the real goal here. Not appearance, function. Getting up faster, feeling steadier, needing less effort for everyday movements. That is what staying strong actually looks like. Now let us talk about how to scale this exercise, because one of the best things about the sit to stand is that it meets you exactly where you are. If the standard version is too difficult right now, that is completely okay. Use a higher chair or add a firm cushion to raise the seat height. That reduces how far you have to travel and makes the movement more manageable. You can also lightly hold the chair arms for support as you start. The goal is to use that support less and less over time. If the standard version feels too easy, lower the chair height. Add a pause at the bottom, hovering just above the seat for 2 to 3 seconds before standing. Or try crossing your arms over your chest to remove the option of pushing off your thighs. Each of these progressions adds a layer of challenge that keeps your muscles adapting. And adaptation is the whole point. Your body only gets stronger when it is given a reason to. Here is something else worth knowing. You do not need a long workout session for this to work. Research on what scientists call exercise snacks, short, deliberate bursts of activity spread throughout the day, shows that these brief bouts can meaningfully improve muscular endurance and fitness in older adults. That means doing 10 sit-to-stands in the morning, 10 after lunch, and 10 before dinner is a legitimate training approach. It is not a consolation prize for people who cannot do a full workout. It is a smart, evidence-supported strategy. And here is the real advantage of that approach. People actually do it. The number one reason exercise programs fail is that people stop doing them. Short bursts are easier to fit into a real day. They feel less overwhelming, and consistency over time is worth far more than perfection for a week. So if you have been waiting for the perfect time to start a fitness routine, this is it. Right now. Get up from wherever you are sitting and do 10 sit-to-stands. Slow on the way down, intentional on the way up. That is your first set. You just started. Now I want to tell you something that surprised me when I went deep into this research, because the benefits of this exercise go well beyond your legs. Strength training in older adults, including functional movements like the sit-to-stand, has been linked to better sleep quality, improved mood, stronger bones, and reduced risk of chronic disease. That is not a small thing. That is your whole health picture, changing from one simple movement done consistently. And there is a brain angle here that almost nobody talks about. Resistance training is being studied for its potential to support brain health through improved blood flow and reduced inflammation in the brain. Strong body, younger brain. That connection is real, and it is one more reason why this movement matters far beyond just your legs. But there is one benefit that I think matters most, and it is the one that does not show up in any study but is felt every single day. Independence. The ability to get up from a chair without help, to get off the couch, out of the car, off the toilet, without needing to grab something or call for someone. That independence is not a small thing. For many people, it is everything, and the sit-to-stand directly trains that ability. Every rep is a direct investment in your future independence, not your future appearance, your future freedom. There is also a confidence piece here that does not get enough attention. When your body starts to feel unsteady, when you hesitate before you stand up, when you grip the armrest a little tighter every time, something starts to happen. You move less. You avoid the movements that make you feel unstable, and that avoidance accelerates the very decline you were trying to avoid. It becomes a cycle. Weakness leads to hesitation. Hesitation leads to less movement. Less movement leads to more weakness. The sit-to-stand breaks that cycle. Every time you do it with control and confidence, you are rebuilding the trust between your brain and your body. You are telling your nervous system, I can do this, and your nervous system responds by getting better at it. Now let me also tell you what to watch for when you do this movement, because the sit-to-stand is also a diagnostic tool. Watch yourself in a mirror if you can, or have someone watch you. Do you need momentum to get up, rocking forward and back before you actually rise? That is a sign of limited leg power. Do you push off your thighs with your hands? That is a sign your legs are asking for help they should not need. Do you lean heavily to one side? That might indicate an imbalance between your left and right leg. Do you hold your breath? That is a sign of effort that is higher than it should be for this movement. None of these things are failures. They are information. They tell you exactly where to focus. And as you keep training, you will watch those compensations disappear. That progress is one of the most motivating things you can experience. Here is a simple benchmark you can use to track your progress. Set a timer for 30 seconds and count how many times you can stand up and sit down with good form. No momentum, no arm push-off, controlled on the way down. If you are in your 60s, aim for 14 or more. 70s, aim for 12 or more. 80s, aim for 10 or more. These numbers are based on functional fitness research, and they give you a real, measurable target. Test yourself today. Write the number down. Test yourself again in 4 weeks. The improvement will be real, and it will be visible. Before we get to the final piece, I want to ask you something. Has this video given you a new way of thinking about this exercise? If it has, do me a favor right now. Drop a comment below and tell me your number from that 30-second test. I read every comment, and your number today is the starting line, not a judgment. Also, if you have a friend or family member who could use this information, share this video with them. You might be giving them something that genuinely changes their daily life. And if you want more content like this, content that goes deeper than the usual advice and actually explains the why behind the what, hit that subscribe button. There is a lot more coming that you do not want to miss. Now the final piece, and this one ties everything together. We talked about power versus strength. We talked about what the sit-to-stand is really training. We talked about speed, progression, exercise snacks, and the brain connection. But I want to leave you with the bigger picture, because all of these things point to one central idea. The way you age is not fixed. Your muscles are not on a one-way track toward weakness. Your nervous system is not done adapting. Your body is still responding to the signals you give it every single day. And the sit-to-stand is one of the clearest, most direct signals you can send. It says to your body, I need you to be strong. I need you to be fast. I need you to be coordinated and balanced and ready. And your body at any age will respond to that signal. It will not happen overnight. But it will happen. And 4 weeks from now, if you do this consistently, you will feel it. You will get up from a chair and notice it is easier. You will walk upstairs and notice you feel steadier. You will move through your day with more confidence and less effort. That is not a small thing. That is your life getting better. So here is your action plan. Start today with 2 sets of 10 sit-to-stands. Slow on the way down, intentional on the way up. Do that every day this week. Next week, try the faster version. Drive up with power, add the 30-second test to measure where you are, and keep going. Because the real secret to staying strong as you get older is not finding the perfect exercise program. It is finding one movement you will actually do, one that trains everything your body needs, and doing it consistently. You just found that movement. Now go do it, and when you are done, come back here. Because there is a video coming up next that builds directly on what you just learned, and it will take your results even further. You have already done the hard part, which is learning the truth. Now it is time to put it to work.